Welcome back to the Explainer, everyone. Now, if you're a focused learner who just wants to cut through the noise and get straight to the facts, you are absolutely in the right place today. We're setting the stage for a seriously fascinating deep dive into the unexpected science of a beverage that, well, you probably have sitting in your kitchen right now. I'm talking about green tea. We've all heard the hype, right? It's supposed to be this magical elixir for everything from brain health to weight loss, but as we pull back the curtain today, you're going to see that the reality of what happens inside your body is vastly different from what happens in a test tube.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why does drinking literal gallons of green tea rarely deliver those miraculous health benefits we're always reading about? Seriously, there is a massive and frankly often misunderstood gap between the staggering results scientists see in isolated lab environments and the real-world results we actually experience when we drink this stuff. To really understand this paradox, we have to look closely at the chemical makeup of the tea itself.
Part 1. The Green Tea Hero.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that when we look at the complex chemical matrix of green tea, we see the sheer dominance of one specific molecule. We're mostly talking about a class of flavonoids called catechins, and the undisputed king here is ECGC, or epigallocatechin gallate. It makes up a whopping 50 to 65% of the total catechin content. It's exactly this molecule that drives almost all of the therapeutic hype surrounding green tea.
And honestly, when scientists drop EGCG into a petri dish, it acts like an absolute biological superhero. I mean, first off, it's a master antioxidant. It aggressively scavenges free radicals and even chelates or binds to harmful metals to prevent cellular damage. Second, it directly dampens major inflammatory pathways in the body, like NF-κB. Third, it offers incredible neuroprotection. Why? Because it's one of the rare compounds actually capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier. Fourth, in cancer research, it's been shown to inhibit tumor angiogenesis, which basically means it starves tumors by stopping them from growing new blood vessels, and it actually triggers apoptosis, the programmed cell death for malignant cells. And, if that wasn't enough for you, it even halts the growth of oral bacteria like Streptococcus mutans, the main culprit behind dental cavities. With a resume like this, you'd think drinking green tea would make us literally invincible.
Part 2. The Bioavailability Paradox.
But as we know, every superhero has a kryptonite. For ECGC, it's a shockingly low absorption rate. We're talking just 1 to 5%. That is the minuscule amount that actually survives human digestion and makes it into our systemic circulation. So you could drink the absolute highest quality, most perfectly brewed green tea on earth, and your body is literally going to destroy or block up to 99% of the most active ingredient before your cells ever get a chance to use it. Crazy, right? And this perfectly explains the frustrating real-world data we see in large clinical trials. For instance, people constantly take green tea extract for weight loss, but when you look at massive meta-analyses, they show that supplementation only results in a tiny, clinically unimportant weight loss of about 1.31 kilograms over time. So the molecules themselves are incredibly powerful, but the absorption, it's just terrible.
So why is it so terrible? Well, because ECGC has to run a brutal biological obstacle course. First, the moment it hits the alkaline environment of your small intestine, it undergoes rapid oxidation and degrades. I mean, it literally just falls apart. Second, whatever actually survives that gauntlet gets sent straight to the liver for first-pass metabolism, where enzymes quickly neutralize it. Finally, our intestinal cells have this defense mechanism called P-glycoprotein. It's an active efflux pump that essentially views ECGC as a foreign invader and relentlessly pumps it right back out into the gut. To survive all this, ECGC desperately needs some sort of protective armor.
Part 3. The Nanotech Trojan Horse.
And this brilliantly illustrates how modern pharmacology is stepping in to solve this biological puzzle. They're deploying lipid-based nanocarriers as a sort of microscopic Trojan horse. Scientists essentially take the fragile EGCG molecule and wrap it up in a microscopic lipid bubble. This bubble acts exactly like an invisibility cloak, allowing the EGCG to completely bypass that brutal digestive obstacle course we just talked about.
When you contrast the two side by side, the difference in their pharmacological profiles is literally night and day. On the one side, you have free EGCG, highly unstable, easily destroyed by your gut's pH, poorly absorbed, and rapidly cleared from the body. But on the other side, nano-encapsulated EGCG flips the script entirely. It goes from vulnerable to invincible. That lipid shell shields it from the gut pH, it provides a sustained, steady release of the compound, and, get this, because our own cell walls are made of lipids, the nanocarrier easily fuses right into our membranes to directly deliver the payload. It's a total game changer.
Part 4. Types of nano armor.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because what exactly does this high-tech armor look like?
Well, there are a few different architectures, and each one solves a unique delivery problem. First up, we have liposomes, which use concentric phospholipid bilayers to perfectly mimic human cell membranes, ensuring really easy cellular uptake. Next, we have phytosomes. These are super fascinating because the ECGC actually chemically bonds to the lipid to become part of the membrane itself, which prevents the drug from leaking out prematurely. And finally, solid lipid nanoparticles. These use a solid lipid core to trap the ECGC, providing incredibly high biocompatibility and allowing for a prolonged, slow release of the antioxidants over many, many hours.
Part 5. Brew a better cup. Okay, so while we wait for these futuristic nanoceuticals to hit the local grocery store shelves, there are simple biohacking steps you can take today to drastically multiply the amount of ECGC your body naturally absorbs. First rule, never use boiling water. Steep your tea at exactly 80 to 85 degrees Celsius for just 3 minutes. That maximizes ECGC release without destroying it. Next up, add a quick squeeze of citrus. Vitamin C actually helps stabilize those catechins during digestion. On the flip side, absolutely do not add milk. Dairy caseins bind directly to the antioxidants, effectively trapping them. And finally, green tea interacts heavily with drug transporters in your liver, so you should always space your tea consumption about 2 to 4 hours away from taking any prescription medications.
To sum up this fascinating convergence of nature and tech, the research is perfectly clear here. The integration of nanotechnology-based delivery systems represents the most promising frontier for maximizing the therapeutic utility of tea bioactives. This isn't just about making a better cup of tea, It's about a marriage between ancient herbal medicine and cutting-edge nanotechnology to create the absolute frontier pharmacology.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to ponder. As lipid nanocarriers become cheaper and more accessible, are nanoceuticals the future of our everyday functional nutrition? Or is this just the very beginning of how we will actively biohack our diets at a cellular level? It's an incredibly exciting frontier, and I hope this explainer has left you eager to learn more. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the green tea paradox.